George Bush is at the Knesset in Israel celebrating the 60th anniversary of the creation of Israel, and so, of course, he's going to say some terrible and awful and hideous things. Listen to him talk about Nazi appeasers here, and about Germany and the tanks rolling into Poland, how a United States senator tried to appease them, and then his reference to meeting with Ahmadinejad and our enemies. Clearly talking about Senator Obama. In fact, New York Times later got someone from the administration to admit that, in fact, yes, they were referring to Obama, as if it wasn't obvious enough. So check out this part of the speech.
There are good and decent people who cannot fathom the darkness in these men and try to explain away their words. It's natural, but it is deadly wrong. As witnesses to evil in the past, we carry a solemn responsibility to take these words seriously. Jews and Americans have seen the consequences of disregarding the words of leaders who espouse hatred. And that is a mistake the world must not repeat in the 21st century. Some seem to believe that we should negotiate with the terrorists and radicals as if some ingenious argument will persuade them they have been wrong all along. We've heard this foolish delusion before. As Nazi tanks crossed into Poland in 1939, an American senator declared, "Lord, if I could only have talked to Hitler, all this might have been avoided." We have an obligation to call this what it is: the false comfort of appeasement, which has been repeatedly discredited by history.
So, there you have it. Talking to your enemies is the same as appeasing Adolf Hitler. Always, under any and all circumstances. Can never talk to any of your enemies because they are evil and we are good. That's why Ronald Reagan didn't talk to the Soviets, right? Oh, wait, he did. That's why we didn't talk to the Soviets during Nixon or Kennedy or Ford or Carter's reign or Eisenhower or Truman. No, of course we did. You know, and then, talking to Iran, I've said this 100 times, I'm going to say it one more time. Reagan didn't just talk to Iran, he sold Iran weapons, right? But, I mean, this is really particularly grotesque. One of the reasons is that precedent says that you're not supposed to give political speeches in foreign countries. Now, here's a president who said, oh, I'm going to stay out of this election, goes to Israel, takes this solemn occasion to make a disgustingly political speech at the Knesset there, accusing the Democratic candidate at this point, Barack Obama, of being a Nazi appeaser in Israel. Now, it's really sick. It's beyond the pale. And, you know, what I love about Howard Dean is how aggressive he is. Because the DNC came out with a statement right away punching back and saying the president must apologize for this abhorrent behavior. Barack Obama came out and said Bush policies have strengthened Iran and failed to secure America or Israel. They're not going to let him get away with it, because in the past he would have said stuff like this and there would not have been a proper response. But there's a response from everybody. Even Bagala, who's a huge Clinton supporter, of course, is saying that this is unacceptable and it's terrible. Rahm Emanuel has chimed in. He said the tradition has always been that when a U.S. president is overseas, partisan politics stops at the water's edge. President Bush has now taken the principle and turned it on its head. For this White House, partisan politics now begins at the water's edge, no matter the seriousness and the gravity of the occasion. Does the president have no shame? That's one of the leading Democrats in the House, Rahm Emanuel. Howard Dean said, on the same day that John McCain is talking about putting partisanship aside, the president launched a cheap political attack while on a state visiting honoring the 60th anniversary of Israel, one of America's greatest allies. Bush's outrageous comments are an embarrassment to our country. God bless. That's exactly right. One person, of course, did agree with George Bush. I'm sorry, I should say two. The first guy to jump to his defense? Joe Lieberman, saying, oh, he got it exactly right. I'll tell you that right now. Remember, Obama campaigned for Lieberman. This is how he rewards his, his support in the Democratic, I'm sorry, in the general election in Connecticut in 2006. If it wasn't for Obama, who knows if Lieberman would have been back. One of Obama's greatest mistakes. And then, of course, John McCain chimed in saying, yeah, of course, they're all appeasers. We can't appease. We have to attack, attack, attack. God, man, we cannot. I mean, look, I told you in the last segment, I think Obama's going to win in a landslide. He better, okay? If there is a world-changing event and somehow John McCain wins, it's going to be a brutal, ugly, ugly 4 years.